Welcome to Liz and Sandro's Marketing Podcast. We're the twice weekly podcast that helps your small business grow through digital marketing, through social media, SEO, email marketing, so much more. This is Facebook week here, so we're talking about it again. But this time we are talking about the Facebook Ads Manager. Recently, I got an email saying there's been an update or there's an impending update for Facebook Ads Manager. But while that's happening, Liz noticed a few changes during some training recently.
Yes. And by the way, when I pulled this up to have a visual while we're recording, I saw the notification. Look for some updates coming this weekend. So we may have more to talk about next week. But
by the time people hear this, they'll see the updates.
Yeah. But anywho, I was doing some training internally with the team, just getting them up to speed on some of the latest ways to use the Facebook Ads Manager. And as we were going through piece by piece, one thing I noticed below the placements or in the placements section below where you kind of click, do you want to do newsfeed, right column, Instagram? I noticed that there was a block list, and it may have been there for a hot minute and I just missed it, but I've
never noticed the block list. Yeah.
It was the first time that I stopped and I'm like, okay, what is this? So this is what Facebook says. Block lists prevent your ads from appearing in specific places. On Facebook, you can block publishers of instant articles and in-stream videos. On the Audience Network, you can block specific websites and apps. So as we were doing the training, we were kind of thinking out loud. And, first thing that pops into my head is, okay, one, as I'm building new campaigns, I've got to remember and add to my process to ask clients, is there anywhere where you don't want your ad to appear? Because, or anything, any content, that your ad could be associated with, is there anything that we need to block? Thinking back to last year, YouTube had, a lot of issues with PewDiePie and Logan Paul. Advertisers were not happy. So I'm assuming that Facebook rolled out this feature in response to that. Again, I had never seen it before this week, so it must be pretty new. I haven't tested it yet, but yeah, as we were brainstorming with my team, there's definitely some clients who might say, hey, we need to add some things to that block list because you've got to think how and where your brand is being viewed.
Correct. And I feel personally that Facebook has overextended themselves. Maybe they're going too far into safety because, Liz, I pointed out that quietly, and BuzzFeed broke this news, quietly Facebook has stopped allowing you to target the LGBT, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual community in any advertisements. And there was a story pointed out that there are outreach programs out there, community outreach programs with low budgets that they want to zero in on the LGBT community because they want to tell you, hey, there's free testing here. Hey, there's free prophylactics here, free educational materials, classes, things like that aimed at you. And now they feel like they got to throw their money into the wind if they're Facebook ads. They can't just target their core market.
Yeah, this is going to get tricky for Facebook. I know they want to prevent malicious activity and targeting, but there were a lot of benefits to being able to target based on these characteristics as well. So,
and in November, they stopped allowing you to target racial groups. And we were affected by this because Coco, that Oscar-winning movie, was being played in Spanish at some of our clients' theaters. And we wanted to target Hispanic people. And we were told you are not allowed to target Hispanic people. And that really kind of ticked me off, but I understand why. But I know there's other instances. There's a razor company called Bevel, and they market themselves towards the African-American male community for razors. The skin and shaving techniques for African-American men is much different than those for non-African-American men. So this company aims themselves at that, and now they can no longer do that. So they were very upset by this also. I do hope it's temporary. I know it probably isn't, unfortunately. You can still use interest-based targeting. So for the Coco ad, we used I Like Univision and Mexico soccer team and a few other things. And we got a nice response. So that still worked, but it would have been much easier to target people who are Hispanic, who are bilingual, things like that.
Yeah. So get in there, take a look at some of the new features. And like I said, next week we may have a whole nother episode of updates for you. But at a minimum, get in there and play with this block list feature. It looks like you can create specific lists. So I'm hoping I can maybe even create, different lists for different clients based on the different campaigns that we're building. But yeah, that's what's going on with Facebook Ads Manager. As always, if you have questions, email us or reach out on social. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We would love to hear from you. Sandro, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah. And just so you know, you don't always just have to boost posts. I was talking to a potential new client this week and they're like, oh, we boost posts. And boosting posts is dipping your toe in the water. I would much rather you, as a small business owner, get into the Facebook Ads Manager.
It's so much more robust.
And
You
flexible
can do so much more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, good. Good point. That wraps up today's episode. Thank you for joining us. Again, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Connect with us on social. Go check out our new website, themarketingpodcast.net, and we will see you next time.